What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Ham and Spam Retro Review, the show where two lifelong friends replay the games from our childhood, see if they stand the test of time.
Check us out online at hamandspam.com, where you can find links to our social media, including Twitter, where it's at hamandspam1,
Instagram at Ham and Spam Games,
and search us on Facebook, Ham and Spam Retro Review,
and coming soon to YouTube.
eventually. Thanks for listening.
Hope you enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on episode 10.
Double digits. I'm excited too.
Double digit. I'm. You and I are pumped for this.
Very. This is probably the one episode that I have looked forward to the most, and we've finally gotten to the point where we can actually start reviewing games that we really, really love, because we've gotten maybe not great, maybe not good, but we've gotten better at doing the podcast side of this.
Maybe it doesn't matter. We're here. This is the game I think that you and I had in mind the most when we started this podcast.
Yes, one of about three that I absolutely wanted to. We could do these three that are in my head, and this being one of them, and I could quit the podcast and be done with it.
Oh yeah,
completely fine with that.
I've wanted to for a while, but we just wanted to get to this one.
Wait, quit?
Well, the game we're talking about, of course, is
Donkey Kong Country, the original, the OG.
Donkey Kong Country
for Super Nintendo.
What an amazing game.
Copyright 1994.
And we've got so much to say about it. But before we get to that, because we're both excited about it.
Yeah, I've been trying to get Hammy to record for 2 days prior. But some things have come up.
Yeah, we've had some issues. We've had some things happen this week. We'll go ahead and get that out of the way. Clint, if you want to go ahead.
Nothing special, just work. We last episode I told you about us playing basketball. Basketball's completely over now. Maze does have a party tonight, a little basketball party. So after we record this episode, I will have to go hang out with the team one last time real quick, make fun of them, push little kids down, that sort of thing. But looking forward to next week. Next week is 4th of July week.
It's on a Thursday, though. That's the only thing.
Well, we're at work. We're off Thursday and Friday.
I see. I'm not. I got to work Friday.
You don't have to. But
I don't have to work ever, technically.
Well, but I'm going to take off work Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then be off the entire week.
Nice. That's how you celebrate freedom.
By working around the house, getting things done that you've put off because of youth basketball.
All right, well,
but that was it. Your week?
My week. So Tuesday morning I wake up and I feel like I've got some sort of obstruction in my throat and I'm having problems breathing.
Oh, wow.
And I won't go through the other symptoms I had.
Is it TB?
No.
Oh,
Needless to say, it frightened me enough that I called and made an appointment with a doctor, which in and of itself is pretty amazing.
Did they say it was TB?
No. I've had my shots. Because you know how much I hate doctors. I hate going to doctors.
Oh yeah, you're the one. You're like an old man when it comes to being sick. You will sit in your room, covered up head to toe, and sweat it out. And if you can't sweat it out, you're done with it.
It's not that. The reason being is because it always ends the same with these doctors. It always comes down to them walking in, Mr. Hammy, we need to have a talk about your weight. It's like, I could be sitting there, my leg hanging by a thread. Doctor, I can see the bone. That's not what I'm worried about right now. We need to talk about your weight. There's a handsaw sticking out of my forehead. Yes, but that's not the issue. We need to set you up with a diet plan. So it's always the same with doctors.
Yeah.
But the doctor I've got now is cool. So it's fine.
So you want to talk about your weight? Nope. Okay, we're going to move on. Real quick, when you said your leg was hanging by a thread, all I could think of was the Simpsons episode with the kicker.
The kicker.
Where he kicks the ball like 80 yards.
The Iron Bowl episode.
Yeah. where they kick the ball like 80 yards and the guy's suffering
kicks it
from
again.
leprosy and the foot comes around and kicks it again.
Yeah. Well, it turns out I've had an allergic reaction to something and my throat swelled up.
Oh, wow.
So,
But not TB.
Not TB.
Okay.
Not tuberculosis. I'm not going out like Doc Holliday.
But if you did, that's going on your grave.
That would be cool.
That would be cool.
That would be on my tombstone. You know what else would be on my tombstone?
Pepperoni
and sausage. Yes. Speed. No one saw that.
No one saw that,
Well,
but if anybody that knows us knows exactly what we just did.
Okay, so allergic reaction. My throat's still a little swelled. He gave me a shot and some drugs. I'm kind of sensitive to hot things, so coffee hurts me.
Okay, so like hot temperature.
Yeah, hot temperature. Because and coffee hurts me. Our most popular post thus far on Instagram was of my Super Mario Brothers coffee mug.
Right.
I drank that coffee and it hurt me. It hurt me bad.
Ouch.
So if you see that on Instagram, just know that was painful. But I did have love.
But hey, it was a very successful Instagram post. So congratulations.
It was. But other than that, got a new game, Sinking City.
Yeah.
Got it for my Xbox.
May said you were broadcasting a couple of times.
I did. I broadcasted on Mixer.
There you go. There you go.
If you want to check it out, Hammy 1018 on Mixer.
If you're looking for Clint doesn't stream.
I don't stream well. I'm not very good at playing it, but
yeah. Well, that kind of goes for all of us. And probably part of the reason. Well, it's not the reason, but it's probably part of the reason we haven't really started up the YouTube channel yet. Because I really don't want people to find out how bad I am at these games.
Yeah.
If this playthrough of Donkey Kong Country was any just indication, thank you. So that's why I love you. You're on the same wavelength. You're picking out the words that I'm, obviously stumbling
I have
over.
a slightly larger vocabulary.
Yeah. Because you got a bigger brain, like a big old dinosaur brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, if that's any indication, I am terrible at games because there's no telling how many times I died.
Well, I think this game's kind of one of those where you have to go around and talk to people and see a lot of text. So it might not be the best to
stream.
Yeah, but I enjoy it. It's got all the stuff I like.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, the survival, the horror, the Lovecraftian stuff in it.
Cool. I don't guess I'm really playing a whole lot. I mean, I'm playing what we're reviewing, obviously.
Yeah.
I kind of want to start getting into a Zelda game, maybe for a future episode down the road.
Good.
I can't figure out which one I want to do though.
Well, we'll get to that.
Maybe we should put that as a poll question on Twitter or something. Hey,
which Zelda game should be Clint's first?
There you go. Perhaps, guys. When you listen to this show, just drop us a line and just hashtag Clint Zelda. I don't know.
Yeah,
I want to see if I can get Clint Zelda trending.
So what's going on with this?
But that's it. Super excited about this game.
I am. Who cares that I thought I was dying earlier this week? Who cares about that? Let's get to the meat of it.
Absolutely.
Or the banana of it.
Ooh. I like it.
So let's get straight into, ladies and gentlemen, episode 10, Donkey Kong Country. All right.
Man, I love that song.
That is awesome.
You know that song was originally supposed to be part of the Killer Instinct Nintendo port?
Really?
Yep. I learned that this week doing some actual research for the show.
And somehow it ends up the theme song for a gorilla in sunglasses holding a surfboard.
It fits. I love that song growing. Like, I would go to Funky's Flights just to hear the Funky's Flights music.
Yes. So you pop open your ice cold Mountain Dew.
Well, Yeah, ice cold. We'll go with it.
Room temperature Mountain Dew.
But yeah, hey, a ongoing theme of this episode is going to be how great the music was in this game.
It was. It's fantastic.
I still love the music. I will text you randomly sometimes and say, "Hey, I've got Gangplank Gallon in my head just for no reason because it fits with that old song from 5th grade with Miss Carlisle." You remember that?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely not. Well, Clint, the year was 1994.
Yes, I was the ripe old age of 9 or 10, depends on when the game.
You were 10. Myself, I was 11.
Yep.
And we were in the midst of what I think is really the only true console war that's ever existed.
Oh,
Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis were having it out.
And they were pretty neck and neck at this point.
They were, especially here in the Western countries, including the United States. And this game was a decisive victory for Super Nintendo.
This game right here was the final blow for Sega, I think.
I agree.
You and I talked off air. I guess that's a real thing, off air about it. And just the timeline of when it all came out, Sega kind of had their last little bit with that Sonic and Knuckles and Vector Man and things like that. But once they said, holy crap, Nintendo pushed the limits of what their hardware can do with this one game, we're in trouble. Let's put an add-on to this thing.
And that was the beginning of
the end. And that was the beginning of the end. The lock-on technology was cool, but then when they started making the 32X and the Sega CD, and then the next thing you know, you've got a tower of game systems to make one thing go. That was the beginning of the end.
It's a Frankenstein monster. Nobody wants that.
I never had a 32X or a...
Never did either. I do want to get them.
Yeah.
Just to say I've got them.
I've always heard the Doom on the 32X was a lot better than anywhere else.
Really?
Yeah. I've always heard that one.
We'll have to try it out.
And I've never played, for a big Sonic guy as I am, which apparently is an ongoing joke, that I'm always talking about Sonic on this podcast.
What Sonic games came out for them?
Knuckles Chaotix.
Okay.
Because it's supposed to be Sonic Chaotix. But they said, well, let's give Knuckles a game. And thankfully they did, because if it was a Sonic game, Sonic would have bit the dust a lot sooner than he actually did. Because that game was terrible. Just parts of it was terrible.
Well, needs to say, Donkey Kong Country. How many hours do you think you and I have in this game?
Oh, gosh. Hundreds.
Oh, man. More than that. Nay, thousands.
I don't know if it's thousands. You start thinking about how many hours, how many days there is in 1,000 hours, but... We
were fueled by Mountain Dew and
your mom's cooking.
our unyielding desire to get, 101%?
101%, which I thought was a pretty neat thing for the Donkey Kong games, because Donkey Kong Country 1, you had to get 101%. And Donkey Kong Country 2 was 102, and then Donkey Kong Country DKC 3.
Don't tell me 104.
No, it was 103. But I want to say, like, the newer games, I think they've kept it basically in chronological order. So, like, the 8th Donkey Kong Country was 108%.
So there you go.
I think Tropical Freeze was 100. No, Tropical Freeze is 200%. It was weird because it's that game is super, super hard from everything I've seen.
Really?
Oh, it's.
I'd like to get it.
I would like to get it and play through it. Maybe not a review because it's not necessarily retro, but just the retro aspect because it's still Donkey Kong and
Diddy Kong. I've heard it's a good return to form.
Yeah, and of course, with the updated technology with the graphics and whatnot.
Yeah,
it does it justice.
I just remember that one level, Orangutan Gang. I don't think I've ever found every secret on it.
I have. I did need some help. There are 5.
5?
There are 5. There's one at the beginning, one at the end, and 3 in the middle.
Okay.
So
3 in the middle would get me every time.
3 in the middle that usually get you. That and the one bonus stage. And man, we're not really in any kind of order. We're just rambling about how much we love this game.
I'm so excited.
But the one that always got me was not Blackout Basement. Oil Drum Alley, the first level in the Crimco. Because that very first level, there's an old barrel that's on fire, and you have to get a TNT barrel to make it explode to fall down to the bonus level, which is fine. It's not that hard. There's a banana right there on the screen. You can see it. What a lot of people don't know, unless, obviously they go online or whatnot, is in order to 101% the game, you have to actually beat that particular bonus level. But you don't just beat it by, it's a barrel select. It's 3 barrels, and it's got like a banana, a bunch of bananas, another banana, a balloon, and then a single banana. You have to get all 3 of those as single bananas.
Wow.
To get a barrel. And then the barrel is used to open up the next door on the right.
Holy
and it
cow.
opens up another bonus room. So that's where a lot of people fail to. Orangutan Gang is number 1 because it's so hard to find 5, bonus rooms in that one level. But then a lot of people don't know, there's multiple rooms in that one special stage in Old Drum Alley.
We keep talking about our YouTube channel. Mayhaps our first series could be the 2 of us 101%ing Donkey Kong Country.
I'm game. If it's DKC, I'm game.
It would probably take several episodes over several dozen hours.
Well, I was going to say if we break it up in 15-minute segments, we might get through the first level or the first stage rather.
Man, we can sleep through that first world.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When I did a playthrough, obviously you were sick Tuesday, and you had some other things going on Wednesday. So, when I did my single player playthrough before we played through it double, I went through and was trying to get everything first go around.
Yeah.
And I think I got everything in the first level except that Barrel Canyon. Because there's some that's a little hard in there. Because if you play through it the first time, it's easy to skip through because you get the cannon on the top that basically shoots you through 3/4 of the level. And so you miss some there. So I did have to go back in that one. But that one, in the second level, I got them all first go around. And I think I got them all up until Orangutan Gang. And I started getting a little frustrated because I couldn't keep Espresso. You got to have Espresso, the ostrich.
Oh gosh.
To get anything. How great were the characters? My favorite is probably going to be yours too. Of the 2 Kongs that you could play was Diddy Kong. Yeah. Donkey had its place, but Diddy Kong was just he was faster. He could jump higher. He could do that little roll off and get further out.
Roll off jump there.
Yeah.
It was so awesome.
First game of its kind, really, that I thought that I can think of anyway, that lets you visibly see how many hits that you had. You had the 2. You had the one that you're playing with, and one just kind of mimicked you and followed you.
Yeah.
Well, you get hit, then all of a sudden you're down to one of the Kongs. You're like, okay, I got to play a little more safe here because I've got this big lucky Donkey Kong. I can't do near as much as I was able to, but it kind of gave you a heads up of how many more hits you had. So that was kind of neat.
It's funny how quickly Donkey Kong was relegated to the sidekick.
Yeah, even in the first game, but it's funny too because in the second and the third, he's not even in it.
He wasn't even playable again until Donkey Kong 64.
But if you think about it, though, Donkey Kong's not really Donkey Kong.
He's Donkey Kong's grandson.
Well, there's conflicting stories on that. Supposedly, Cranky Kong is the original Donkey Kong.
Do we need a Maury Povich episode to figure out?
I can only imagine what the reaction with the Kongs would be. A bunch of gorillas going crazy. It's not the father.
That's what they do.
But I was always under the impression that Cranky was the original Donkey Kong, and Donkey Kong Jr. was actually Donkey Kong in Donkey Kong Country.
Okay. Yeah.
So
that would make sense.
Like when you like 6 months before is when Mario Kart was released, and he was still Donkey Kong Jr.
I completely forgot about that.
Right. So that's the same Donkey Kong, but when they released it and gave him his own game and his own storyline and everything, Rare completely redesigned it and gave it a backstory. Now, like I said, there are conflicting stories of if he's the son of Donkey Kong or the grandson of Donkey Kong.
If he's the grandson,
then who's the son? I mean, who's the dad?
Dun, dun, dun. The plot thickens.
But, yeah, just, man, The graphics in it were mind blowing for the time.
Yeah.
Like when you first start up the game, you start out in your hut and you get exploded out, and it's just, dude, look at the graphic. Look how the tree. It's that
They just
3D.
throw you right in it.
They throw you right in it. There's like no lead up to it, like because of the limitations that the system had and what the game could do. There was supposed to be a big intro, like almost like a movie style intro, but they couldn't put it in because
Really?
they didn't have enough space.
I also read that there's supposed to be a Wario cameo.
I have not heard that.
Yeah,
That would be neat.
that they wanted a little throwback to Mario, and they changed their mind.
Let's see. But anyway, you end up learning in the instruction manual that the Kremlins, the bad guys, have stolen the banana horde.
Yeah.
And they trapped Diddy Kong in a barrel. So that's when you have to find Diddy Kong for the first time. But there was supposed to be a whole intro movie that showed all of that, which I thought would have been neat, but still you would have been limited with the cartridge.
Yeah.
Of actually telling that story. But imagine those graphics, and the first thing you did was see that story.
And you know, talking about the graphics and everything, I've told the story before. I think it was episode 2 where I mysteriously got a VHS in the mail.
Yeah.
That thankfully wasn't the one from The Ring, or I would have been dead because I watched it. But it was kind of a hype video from Nintendo for Donkey Kong Country.
And it did it.
It did its job perfect. I said, I have to have this job. And that's, as far as I know, the first game I got on launch.
Yeah.
My parents got it for me.
Because you have good parents.
They absolutely.
I don't think I ever got a game on launch until we started, like Casey and I started in with the football games.
But I got this game, and I was blown away by how it looked.
Oh gosh, yes.
I mean,
and for as good as the first one is, the second one, a lot of people consider it the better one.
Is it considered 32-bit?
No, it's still 16.
Still 16-bit. Yeah. Okay. It just looks
well.
More...
It's 3D rendered graphics. It's almost. You remember Mortal Kombat 3? How the characters look really different because it did the mocap stuff.
Yeah,
it's kind of that, but there's obviously they didn't put mocap on a live gorilla.
In my mind, they did.
But yeah, Rareware at the time.
Yeah,
they did a fantastic job bringing all this to life.
Which, by the way, on a side note, how awesome was that coalition, I guess, between Nintendo and Rare in those days?
Back in the day, man, it did its job. I couldn't tell you a bad Rare game.
I mean, we got the Donkey Kongs, we got Killer Instinct,
Battletoads, GoldenEye, Banjo-Kazooie,
yeah, Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark. Unfortunately, you got Perfect Dark Zero, but
that wasn't Nintendo. That was their Xbox.
But it was still Rare.
Mm-hmm.
So
they went down when they signed with Microsoft, unfortunately.
A bit.
And I think 2000.
But gosh almighty, man. First level's got to be like one of the easiest levels.
Yeah.
Of course you got the jumps and whatnot, but I remember when we first played it, like one of the first things you do obviously is unlock Diddy, but then one of the next things you do is unlock the animals.
Yeah.
And do you still remember all their names?
Okay, you got Rambi,
the
rhinoceros.
There you go.
You got, is it Winky the frog?
Winky the frog.
Espresso the ostrich, which was the worst.
He had his uses, mostly fly halfway across the level and jump off of him so you can get a little extra distance and just let him die.
All right, the swordfish was on guard.
Yep.
And Squawks the parrot.
Yep.
Who you couldn't ride, but he carried a flashlight for you.
In one level.
Yep.
So, but when you get to the first level, the first character you come across is Rambi. And the very first thing you do is you kill 3 of the big gorilla crocodile-looking things. Anyway, you kill those 3, and then the first thing you do is you run into a wall, and you're like, man, I can't run into a wall. What happens? Well, there's the music. Cue the music. You got a bonus room. You're like,
Kool-Aid man right through that wall. Oh, yeah.
And it's like, holy crap. There's, secret stuff in this game that I got to find. And eventually you're like, okay, I'm not really playing the game. I'm looking for secret stuff now.
And this is one of the few things I think, because I've said before, I do think Super Mario World's a better platformer. But this is my favorite of the two. There's no time limit on Donkey Kong Country.
You are absolutely right. Thankfully.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it takes. I mean, the levels are short enough. Or they're long enough to keep your attention, but they're short enough to keep your attention. What did I just say?
Squirrel.
But man, I can't tell you the number of barrels I've thrown up against walls that were actual walls trying to find how many holes I've jumped into trying to find the bonus barrel.
Times you killed yourself.
Oh my goodness!
Thank God for that barrel code.
Whenever I played it, through this week, I never used it one time.
Really?
In the first 3 levels, I think I had 68 lives.
They're very generous.
They're very generous, and that was a good thing, because you need them later in the game.
Yeah.
The bad thing, you did have a save point, and just like not every, but most games of this generation, you had to get to a certain point to get a save point. It wasn't like save whenever you wanted to. But when you reloaded a save, you didn't save your lives. You got 4 lives, which essentially was 5 because you had a 0 life. But
really,
yeah,
I never noticed that.
Yeah, you always had 4 lives starting back out.
Where was it you say? Was it Candy or Cranky?
Candy is where you say.
Okay.
Cranky, who, as I get older, is probably becoming my favorite Kong because I can relate now. He was just awesome because you could go by and get the information from him. And if he didn't want to give you information, he wouldn't. He'd hit you on top of the head with a cane and just send you on your way.
Yeah.
So, but everybody keeps saying, why do they call this Donkey Kong? Because Donkey Kong's only in the one game. Well, if you think about it, I know Cranky's in the first 2. I don't think he's in the 3rd one, but technically Donkey Kong is in it. If you think about it,
Donkey Kong's Island.
Well,
which has like 7 or 8 airports.
At least 1 per thing, and there's 6 levels, so yeah.
6 airports.
So 6 airports. Which I always thought it was funny too, because you progress through the world. So the first world you come to is like the jungle/cave area.
Yeah.
Which is the easiest. And then you have this like mine ruins as the second one. And the third one is the where the vulture culture and all that is. Yeah, the tree area.
Deciduous forest.
And then the 4th one is the snow level, which is a completely different rant on its own. And the 5th one is Crimco Industries, which is like basically the bad guys have made
they're industrializing
on an island. On your island, you have let these people do this. I always thought that was kind of funny. It's like you look in the background, they're polluting the island and everything, and it's like, oh, well, these are the bad guys. Well, it's kind of your island there, buddy. You kind of let them do it.
You kind of dropped the ball there, Donkey. You should have stopped that. It's probably how he paid for all his bananas, was all the money he got for letting him do that.
Probably.
And then they stole them.
Lord forbid that he actually go out and try to collect bananas on his own. Real quick, what was your favorite? Well, that was the next to last one. There was one more that was called I think it was Chimp Mines, or maybe that was a level. But anyway, you went back down into the into a big cave area and come back out basically on the beach, and got onto the ship. So the ship by itself was.
Does the ship have a name?
I don't think so. If it did, it's probably in the instruction booklet.
Yeah.
I researched for this game.
I
didn't do
instruction booklets. I've still got mine.
There's a lost art in it.
I should have found it and brought it.
Well,
I almost did, but I didn't.
Yeah, because that's kind of how you got the backstory back in the day. There wasn't a whole cinematic cut scene or anything like that like there is now.
You actually had to read.
You actually had to be able to make out words. Groups of letters make words. Groups of words make a sentence.
But what were you going to ask?
Oh, what was your favorite area? What was your favorite part of the world?
Probably the forest.
The forest area.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that because I mean that was neat because you're in a very dense forest and then you're in the treetops sometimes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could absolutely see that.
And I also had the level with my favorite music, which we're going to play in this podcast. That was Treetop Village.
I did like Treetop Village. That's.
And let me tell you, the older I get, I pay more attention, I think, to just random stuff in these games. The backgrounds for Donkey Kong Country are amazing. Like Treetop Village, you got all these other tree houses and
it scrolls
walkways.
with it.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing.
Because it's almost like the old Scooby-Doo background, you know, where it will kind of start repeating.
The matte painting.
Right. But at least it will kind of scroll with you.
Yeah.
And like I said, I mean, I love Donkey Kong Country, and to me personally, it's the best one because I played it the most.
Yeah.
In playing some Donkey Kong Country 2 later, it might have better graphics. I don't think the soundtrack is as memorable, but I mean, it still looks really, really good.
And
I can see where it could be considered the better of the two.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, for purposes of me personally, Clint, you can't beat one.
you can't.
There's no way.
But the amount of detail in the levels, like Treetop Village, I always wondered who lives in these tree houses.
It's kind of like the old Pit 2 stage in Mortal Kombat 2 where you had the two fighters in the back.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not paying attention to the fight in the foreground. I'm paying attention to the fight in the background because I want to know who those two guys are.
Which you later find out.
Yep. Yeah. The one that you hated the most, what level, not level, but what area of the island did you hate the most?
Probably the industrial level.
The industrial level was hard, but it wasn't frustrating to me.
No.
The snow levels.
Really?
Man, you can get on some of that, especially you get inside the cave where everything's frozen.
You're sliding
You're just
around.
sliding around. And then it's got those stupid ropes that are frozen over too, which is weird because you have ropes that make you slide up and you got ropes that make you slide down.
This raises further questions.
But I struggled on it for a little while.
I like the snow. I like that one level where you start out and it's clear and then it starts snowing.
Oh yeah, it's great graphically.
Yeah.
It is frustrating as all get out to play though, because when it's snowing hard, like the only way you can tell what side of the barrel you have is that white stripe that is up at the top that helps you kind of aim where you're coming out. You can't hardly see that thing. Like you just kind of have to know what exactly you're looking for.
And that was just so unheard of for that time.
Oh goodness, yes. The enemies, I thought they were clever.
Yeah.
Obviously there are a lot of reptiles, but you got some birds and sharks and piranhas and squids and clams and all
one
kind
member
of, stuff.
of the Kong family who is apparently the black sheep. What's his name? The orangutan?
Oh God.
Mankey?
It's Mankey Kong, yeah.
Yeah. How many levels was he in? He was only in a few, wasn't he?
He was in Old Drum Alley, I'll tell you that much. He was in the
gosh.
first one and that one.
Old Drum. I can never remember which one I hated more, was Old Drum Alley or Blackout Basement.
Blackout Basement is difficult, but as long as because I had the same issue also. It was as long as you were patient, you were okay in Blackout Basement. And again, in doing some research, apparently over in Japan, we're like, well, here when it blacks out, it'll black out for like a second and a half, and it'll come back on for a second and a half. And it'll black out and come on, and it's always in that same spot. Well, apparently over in Japan, it would like stay on for like 1 second and be gone for 2 seconds. So you had enough time for like the enemies to like come across the screen. You never see them and kill you. Can you imagine how upset I would be?
Terrifying.
And it was so good and so memorable and so frustrating to people that they put another level much like it in Donkey Kong Country 3. And I know you probably didn't play it as much as you did, obviously 1 or maybe even 2, but
I don't even think I've played 3, to be honest with you.
There's one level in it where and I can't remember the name of it, basically it lightnings all the time.
Ooh.
And the lightning is basically like the blackout. Like it'll kind of flash on the screen, then that means you've got to like backtrack. So it's almost like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, that whole level to try to get through it. And it is frustrating. Until you figure that out, it is frustrating.
Interesting.
I remember playing that game with Charles and throwing all kind of controllers because he kept getting struck by lightning. Because that was Dixie, and when she picks up a barrel, she picks it up with her hair. She kind of bounces herself. Well, you could pick up a barrel and the lightning would strike the barrel. Well, then it strikes Dixie, and then it strikes the other Kong, and then you're obviously you're out alive. So, and water does not help. If it strikes the water, everything dies. Everything that's good dies.
And I just thought of something. You didn't have a Super Nintendo growing up.
I did not. Every time that I played Donkey Kong Country growing up was at your house.
Really?
Or if you brought your Nintendo to my house, at my house then. That's the only time.
That's the only time I ever played Sonic was at your house.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So there you go.
Thank God we were able to grow up and get our own systems at some point.
Well, the current Super Nintendo that I have now, I bought it probably 6 years ago. I guess 5 or 6 years ago now, and I made sure that it had all 3 Donkey Kong Countries. Luckily for me, it was a big set. It had bought it from eBay. It had all 3 Donkey Kong Countries. Had All Stars and Super Mario World, not the one with the cartridge together. Had all 3 Mortal Kombats.
Mm-hmm. That's a good deal.
And a couple of others, and I think I got it for like $75.
Oh wow!
At the time, I mean, because retro's like exploded here lately. Obviously, I mean, we're not the only. I mean, I hate to acknowledge this, but we're not the only retro podcast out there. We're the only one that matters, though.
Yeah, exactly. We're the only one called Ham and Spam,
and we're the coolest one,
I think.
we might need to research that next week on Clint and Hammy Presents.
Yeah. But I was talking about our levels.
Okay.
All right, what do you think is your most memorable level?
Most memorable, like if you think of Donkey Kong Country, which one do you think of? I would probably say either Jungle Hijinks, which is the very first one, or maybe Barrel Cannon Canyon, because you're a monkey exploding out of a barrel. You just you think Donkey Kong. I mean, if you think of any Donkey Kong, past or present, or maybe even future, you think of exploding out of a barrel. You know, you don't necessarily think about the caves. You don't necessarily think about the water. Now, if you think about best level music, it'd be the Coral Capers, the first water level.
Oh yeah,
how majestic just the music made the level.
God, soundtrack. It's still to this day one of the best ever.
Oh, I love listening to it to this day.
I think my most memorable, and it's just kind of weird, Stop and Go Station. It's always stood out to me because it's the only time you run into that rock enemy.
Yeah. Did again doing research? Yay, Clint. In the Game Boy Advance port, am I saying that right? Port. They ported it to Game Boy.
Yeah,
okay, because I think I've done that incorrectly before. You could actually destroy those with the Donkey Kong's hand slap.
Really?
Yeah. If they were stopped, you could do the ground slap or whatever, and it would destroy them.
Huh.
That's the only game that it did that with, though.
You know, it's interesting you brought that up because there have been it released for Super Nintendo, but it also released on Game Boy Color.
Yep.
Game Boy Advance.
Mm-hmm.
When I was able to finally play it this week, I played it on my 3DS.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My new 3DS. I put that out there because there's a regular 3DS that doesn't play Super Nintendo games, and a new one that does.
Well, in the new one though, I think because they've for it to be a handheld, I believe it's more powerful than a Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
But even the cartridges and stuff that goes with it now can hold more as well. I think there's another level on the 3DS. Like
really? I didn't get that far.
Yeah, I think there's completely there's 40 levels. There's 41 on that one.
Huh. That Necky's Nightmare.
Yeah.
What you were telling me about?
Necky's Nightmare is the new one there, and then I think there is they might have put the cutscene on the front, and that part I don't know, but I think it might have been the Game Boy. I'd hate to give incorrect information, but I had read somewhere they put the cutscene in one of the remakes because they finally had enough room to do it.
Okay. You know, that's another testament how good this game is they had 40 levels, and we could probably name all of them.
I could name over half. It's like the counties in Alabama. I could name over half. James Spann.
we can name all of them with the help of Google.
yeah. Well,
but we could get a bunch. We could get through a bunch of them. I believe we could get through half.
Sure.
And we can remember. We'll stop. We'll probably hear the music in our head for
them. Going back to music, man, that Gangplank Gallon was pretty good too.
It was. Remember that rock version I sent you?
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
And what a great ending to a game.
It was. Had a false ending.
It had a false ending right in the middle of it. Like you hit King K. Rool because it's a real simple battle, and like the producers are all the bad guys, and it says the end ? And all of a sudden he comes back alive. And it does that little short jump that you have to really, really time. God, there's no
Man.
telling how many times I died doing that.
That game from top to bottom, every part of it was great.
Yeah, I think, well, and I guess because it was so hidden, the only blemish to me was that blackout basement level where you had to basically beat the level a certain way to get the additional bonus stage.
Yeah.
Well, that and you didn't have to beat the bonus level to get credit for it. So like, with the barrels, might have 3 or 4 or 5 barrels you could pick the balloon out of. You didn't have to win to get credit for it. As long as you unlocked it, you got credit for it.
It would be cooler if you had to beat it.
That's one of the big things they fixed in 2, and that's why a lot of people like 2.
Okay.
So like you had like 2 introduced banana coins and different things that you didn't necessarily have to collect, but you kind of did. You ended up collecting along the way. Like you had to have 2 banana coins to save. Like you couldn't just go save because you wanted to save.
Really?
So I mean, it gave you a reason to kind of collect them.
Yeah, I never beat 2. I got to the boss, but then I ran out of time and take it back to Blockbuster.
I was gonna say I didn't think there was a time limit, but I got you. Good old Blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Blockbuster was a staple of our childhood. Quick thing about Donkey Kong Country 2, even though I know this isn't a Donkey Kong Country 2 episode, Donkey Kong Country 2 was originally scheduled to come out on Nintendo's Virtual Boy.
Really?
Yep. But once they found out that the Virtual Boy was selling terribly, they canned it.
But we know one person they sold a Virtual Boy to.
Whenever I found it at Walmart for $25. A system that was originally $200 tanked so badly that they just wanted to get off the shelf and sold it for $25. I've got the original box at home, and it's still got the old, and this is old school Walmart, the old green Walmart sticker.
Really?
Yep, and it says $25 on it.
Wow. So I didn't know they were that cheap, or I would have got one. Now they're back up to over 200.
Yeah, and that's only if you can find them without the broken screens and all that kind of stuff. Because apparently a lot of them were just put in boxes and got messed around with and all that.
I still want to get one.
I've got mine. Unfortunately, where I stored it with batteries in. And I think the batteries kind of corroded a little bit, so I may have to get another game pack for it. I'd love to get an AC adapter for it because
they made them.
I know they made them. I don't know if you can find them right now though.
eBay
probably. But yeah, that thing would eat through some batteries in a heartbeat. It took 6.
Like a Sega Game Gear.
I still, again, we're pig trailing here, but I remember playing that thing because it had the stand. You had to sit down and play it. Well, I remember like at night, when your parents made you go to bed, TV was off, the lights were off, the game system was off. Well, where you go to bed with that thing, I could lay down, face down into the Virtual Boy, and I could play it, and everybody thought I was asleep.
Nice.
There'd be a lot of mornings I wouldn't go to bed till like 4 o'clock in the morning and have to get up at 6 to go to school, and I've been playing the one game or the 2 games that mattered on that.
Wario and
Mario
Tennis.
And Mario Tennis. There you go.
I want to play the Waterworld game.
I wouldn't.
It's the most expensive one.
Why?
I only made
please
tell. 4 of them.
All right, if we happen to review, and it would be hard to review Mario Tennis because it's a sports game. I mean, you beat it and that's it. There's nothing. It's just like Mario Tennis on N64.
Yeah.
It's like Mario Kart. Just except you're just playing tennis. But Wario Land was a very extensive game, and a lot of people wouldn't realize that. And it takes a long time to 100% that game too.
Really?
Yeah. What was your, going back to Donkey Kong Country, what level did you hate the most?
Probably Blackout Basement.
Oh, dude, I've got like 14 that I hate the most. That tanked up trouble in the mine level where you had to keep getting the fuel tank.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
See, because most everybody thinks that the industrial level is kind of the last level. Because I think that all the time. I think, oh well, there's that chimp caverns or whatever that is. Tanked up trouble. I hated it.
I remember what you're talking about now.
And then it kind of gets a little. I mean, obviously as games progress, they get harder.
Yeah.
But usually when you're playing through the games, to me, the snow level gets just kind of dicey. Like, it just gets difficult.
Yeah.
Because there's a part about midway through that game when it just starts getting difficult. If you really think, and it's about orangutan gangs, when that game starts, the level of it starts going
Cranks
up.
it up.
Yep.
You better been saving your lives.
And that's not even including the bonus stage stuff, because it's about that tree, that tree stage with vulture culture and all that. Whenever you start losing lives, it's not so much that it's frustrating, but just, I mean, there's just some little crappy things that happen where you'll start losing lives. You're like, okay, well, I'm glad I've got 50 something lives, because you'll go through them in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Best boss not named King K. Rool.
Oh man. I don't know, because most of them are just repeats.
Well, you had Necky, or Necky's Nuts.
Yeah, you had the beaver.
You had Naughty.
You had the bee.
Queen Bee. Yeah.
Queen bee.
The drum. Boss Dumb Drum.
Oh yeah.
You had Necky's Revenge, where
I like Necky. I like fighting Necky.
Naughty had a revenge too. The gopher.
Yeah.
Or beaver, whatever he was.
I wrote it.
He had a comeback too, because the first one he just kind of jumped.
Yeah.
That was it. Well, the second one, he would jump, and then based on the number of times you've hit him, he would jump that many times when he came back, but he was invincible until he started jumping normal again.
Yeah.
So I think I like the Queen Bee one. I think that might be my favorite. Necky was good, because the first one he just kind of popped out from either side, and it was just one. He'd spit a coconut, and you just hit him on the head. Well, then the second one, when he had his revenge, he would spit multiple coconuts. So he'd spit one, then he'd come back and spit two, then come back and spit three, then he'd come back and spit four, and then he'd die.
Yeah.
My favorite thing to do on that was to position my player
so the
where
banana
would
would
fall on his head.
Yeah. I think everyone did that.
Gosh almighty, man, the things that we did. This is one of the games where even to this day I still remember the cheat codes. And the cheat codes weren't really cheat codes.
Let's give you extra lives.
There was an extra live.
There's one that's a music test. Remember that one?
I do remember the music test. The Diddy code, where you could play all the animal stages.
Yeah.
I will do everything in my power now to not get the animal emblem if I can help.
Yeah,
because it's kind of a waste of time.
It really is.
And
was it 90 seconds?
Yeah.
You're just running around as an animal.
You just run around an animal, get their little icons.
Yeah.
And then how many every 100 icons that you collected was a free man.
Yeah.
So it's just a bonus level to get free.
So much easier to jump on top of trees and get,
the balloons. Go back to level 1. Go to Funky's Flights. Go back to level 1. Get 99 lives and back out.
Boom.
Done. I think
this
is one of the first games. Well, I can't say that because Mario had it too, but this is one of the first games where you can enter a level that you've beaten and then back straight out of it, like the start select.
Yeah.
I would dare to say that I played more Donkey Kong Country, or I probably even played Donkey Kong Country first before I played Mario, somehow or another.
Well, he didn't have a Super Nintendo.
That's true.
I love the fact that the two-player, you just tagged each other in.
Yeah, the two-player, if you're playing Hammy and also, okay, Clint, here, I need a brick or something like that real quick. You just tag me in.
Need Diddy Kong to make this long jump.
Right. Well, usually you were Diddy, and you always vanquish me to Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
And how I still love this game, I don't know. Best cheat code ever though was Bad Buddy.
Yeah.
The Bad Buddy cheat would let you as a second player tag yourself in, but the thing was, as soon as you tagged the first player, made him the second player, he could tag himself back in. And there's one time in specific where Hammy and I, for at least 15 minutes, just sit there and tagged ourselves back and forth.
It was just constant.
Yeah, just like there's no advancing the game. There was no time. Obviously, there's no time limit, so there's nothing that can happen there. But we just tagged ourselves back and forth for like 15. And then Hammy lost it. Like he was just laughing so much that the only thing that's come close to touching that was when we rented that WWE game for GameCube.
Oh yeah, it just kept punching me.
Yeah, and we sat down the controller and walked outside and came back like 20 minutes later.
Undertaker was on top
still
of the guy,
just
just still punching.
mounted punches. Like I had to hit a button to make it stop.
But the thing about that Bad Buddy time is we got an extra life somehow.
Yeah, I still don't. I've tried to repeat that, and I don't know how we did it. I don't know if it's just because, hey, congratulations, y'all tagged 100 times in a row, or 1,000 times in a row, or whatever the number was. But I've never been able to repeat that before.
That was awesome.
Frustratingly though, the Diddy, the animal code, I could never figure out how to get out and save those lives and carry them into a game.
I don't know if I ever did either.
I don't know if you can.
I think it was just to practice them, to get your
guess
routes
so.
down.
I guess so. All four of the animals had, all four of the playable animals. Well, that's not right because Squat was, I guess,
Rideable animals.
All the rideable animals had their own level.
Yeah.
And if you went far enough to the left or the right, they had the big golden icon that
those
would
had
double.
secrets. Yeah.
Yeah, they would double. Whatever. So if you had 900 and you could double before the timer ran out, you could end up with 1,200. So it's 12 lives. But to me, I think the best one was Unguard because he had one at top where you started the level. He had one at top, bottom, left, and right. So you had one that was 2 times. You had one that was 3 times. One that was 4 times. Mm-hmm. And then he had the big emblem that doubled everything you had. So
you could rack
up with some Unguard, but it was so far spaced out. It was almost not enough to, go into Unguard and do it.
Yeah, it's hard to do.
Man, I feel like I'm talking a lot, and you're the Super Nintendo guy.
Hey, I'm enjoying it because I love this game so much. I'm sitting here thinking back.
Yeah, I was waiting for this, and it's amazing how much better. Now I've said this before on this podcast that 10-year-old Clint would beat the crap out of 34-year-old, almost 35-year-old Clint because of just how little I have gotten to the point where I play games. But 35-year-old Clint would beat 10-year-old Clint on how good he is at platforming now, because up until the levels got super, super hard, like Manic Mincers or whatever that stupid level is, that's the one I didn't beat the game before we did this, and that's my only regret about replaying this game is I was unable to beat it 100%. Well, not percentage wise, but just
actually
beat it because I got stuck on finish. I got stuck on Manic Mincers, which is the one after Tanked Up Trouble.
And I remember when I was a kid, I would just start the game over and just play through it.
Yeah, until it got hard and go back and play through it again.
Take me like 2 hours.
Yeah,
get through it.
I was going somewhere with that.
I would beat the game completely and then start over.
In that first level when I guess it's the second level when it starts raining.
Yeah,
and they introduced the armadillos that Diddy has to hit twice.
Yeah,
I used to hate that level when I was a kid because I would always get killed by the armadillos. I'd hit it and I'd bounce off somewhere into a hole or something. But
you could roll into them, couldn't you?
You could cartwheel into them.
Oh yeah, cartwheel.
And it would knock them out, but you still had to hit them twice. Donkey Kong was heavy enough to do it.
Yeah, that's where he was better.
Yeah, you had the armadillos. You had
the big fat ones with the helmets.
The big fat ones with the helmets, and
those big buff guys.
And the big buff ones. Yeah, those are the 3.
They would just laugh at Diddy if you hit them.
Well, you can cartwheel though. You can cartwheel them, and you can cartwheel the fat ones too.
Yeah,
but
you just couldn't jump on them.
Right. You jumped on those, bounced off. They skipped leg day.
Yeah. Never skip leg day.
Have you ever heard of the Cranky Challenge?
Beat it in what, an hour?
So if you beat the game, no matter if you 100% it or 101% it or whatever, if you beat it in more than an hour, Cranky Kong will come out and say, I would have found every bonus room. I would have done it in an hour, and I've only used 1 life. So people came up with a Cranky Challenge, but it's not a real thing. Like if you do it, there's no alternate ending or anything.
Yeah.
So people don't really consider it, but it's just one of those, hey, I've done it. Here's the proof. I did it in 55 minutes, 101%, and used 1 life. Could you imagine?
You know why that's in there, right? because the original plan was
What's
for
that?
Cranky to be a secret character,
Oh, really?
but it was going to be a gag character. He's going to be like really slow and like he couldn't jump very far. Kind of a joke.
Yeah. Well, I was watching a guy on YouTube go through it, and he said that he, in doing his YouTube show, where he's actually gotten to know some of the producers and whatnot, and that he actually asked the lead producers, said, was there actually a Cranky challenge? And they said there was supposed to be, you know, kind of like with GoldenEye, where if you beat everything, you got this debug mode essentially. So there's supposed to be that, and it's just a little bit of an alternate ending in a way, but they didn't have enough room. They used it all on the graphics and the sound.
That's why I like the re-releases so much, because then they can add back in a lot of stuff they took out. But what else we got to say? I mean, we could literally go on forever. But.
Oh yeah, this right here, Hammy said it before we went on air. I think you didn't say it on the podcast about this should be the one we do our YouTube channel on, did you?
Yeah.
You said it on air?
Yeah.
Where was I?
Right there.
Right here. Well, I've had a mild stroke, folks. Gosh almighty, man. If you gave a game a perfect score, this would have to be it.
Yeah. Well, like I said last week, I'm not going to do scores anymore.
Right, but
here's what I'm going to say, and I'll go ahead and give my review right here. Is this a game I enjoyed as a kid? Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Is this a game I enjoy right now? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Will I play it again? I'll play this game for the rest of my life.
Yes.
This is one of my all-time favorite video games.
And I said it last week. I don't know what my top 5 are, but this would definitely be top 3.
Oh, yeah.
For me, personally.
It was, God.
Everybody played it.
Yeah, and if you're listening and you've never played it,
do yourself a favor.
Yes, go now and play. It's on the SNES Classic.
It is.
It's on. We mentioned everything else: the SNES, Game Boy Color, Advance, 3DS.
At one point, I know it was on the Wii with the Nintendo store that was online.
And the Virtual Console. They took it off because of the SNES Classic coming out, I think.
Okay, well.
That's the way I understand. I could be wrong. Maybe one day in the future, Nintendo will wise up and put Super Nintendo games on the Switch like they have the original NES games.
Man, I thought that there was going to be a big announcement at E3 that they were going to do
I did too.
That was a little bit of a letdown, to be honest.
But they may come out next week with a direct.
I would get a Switch just for that. Just so I could take Donkey Kong Country anywhere I wanted to.
You can with a 3DS, but
yeah, I'm not
it's
doing
just not
that.
the same.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I don't blame you. But
yeah,
play it.
As far as, like I said, yeah, there's some things in there that I thought that they could have done a little bit different. But you think about how innovative this game was and how it knocked it out of the park for Super Nintendo.
It did. This is the one that won it for them.
Because everybody was like, man, Sega's got something going on. They've got a chance, you know. And Nintendo's like, yeah, okay, let's see. You know, this went on to be the number 3 selling all-time game.
And the top one that wasn't bundled.
They did bundle it eventually.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
But
that's fake news.
Number 1 and number 2, and I don't know which one's which, is All-Stars and Super Mario World.
Yeah.
But mostly because I know World got bundled.
Yeah.
And I think All-Stars did at one point, too.
Yeah, my Super Nintendo came with Mario World.
Yeah, most of them did. But I think a little later, whenever they re-released all the original 4 Super Mario Brothers on the All-Stars, I think it was bundled, too. But that's crazy for it to, a game not be named Mario to be the number 3 all time.
I mean, this, like I said earlier, this is the one that won it in the West. This is where Nintendo created a huge divide between Sega and sales in the Western countries.
A monkey with a tie and a smaller monkey with no pants. You know, his name was almost going to be Dinky. D-I-N.
Yeah.
It's going to be funny.
They even wanted to call him Donkey Kong Jr.
Yeah.
And
They basically
said
redid it and wanted to redesign Donkey Kong Jr. and Nintendo didn't like it, and they came up with this whole entire thing. And I'd venture to say Diddy Kong's more popular than Donkey Kong.
Well, they went on with Diddy Kong Racing, another great rare game for N64 that introduced Banjo and Conker.
Yep, which turned into their own respective games as well. Yeah, there's a ton of Donkey Kong games out there. Unfortunately, there's that, was it Conga? The
with
the one with the drums. Yeah.
I never played Donkey Kong 64.
Not a bad game. It's Banjo-Kazooie. basically, but you could pick between 5 characters.
I've heard people who love it. I've heard people who hate it.
Yeah, you're gonna get a bunch of that. Really, you will. It's vast though.
Really?
It's a huge game.
Maybe I need to check it out sometime. I don't think I have it. You got it? The yellow cartridge?
Just bought it as of just a couple of days ago.
That's right. You got it with some other games we're not going to mention.
Yep. And I don't want to call it necessarily a bad thing, but I may have to find one of those expansion packs because you had to have the expansion pack to play it. If you played it without the expansion pack, they said it was very glitchy.
Really?
Yeah.
I've got one, but you can't have it.
I don't want it. I just would like to borrow it, possibly. I think mine may have one unknowingly in it, but I'd have to double check.
I don't have Donkey Kong 64.
Yeah, I didn't think that you did.
I need to get it.
So, man, I love this game. I want to play it now.
Yeah. Oh well, I guess your review is pretty obvious.
What, that I loved it?
Yeah. Did you review it? Are you still doing the score, or are you doing like I'm doing?
I guess kind of like you're doing. I'm just following suit. I'm just here.
You're just here to play Donkey Kong Country and drink Mountain Dew.
And I'm all out of Mountain Dew.
Are you really?
Well, I think I've got one more, but this one's empty.
Well, we need to get on some Donkey Kong Country. For you listening, go play it. I know my cousin Jeremy just got his brother's Superboy. You ever seen that?
Yeah.
Little handheld.
Yep.
Jeremy, I know you're listening. Get Donkey Kong Country right now and put it in. I know you want to.
Guys, and leave us some feedback. We'd love to hear your stories about Donkey Kong.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because of how much this game meant to us. I mean, and I'm hoping that you can tell it right now with the enthusiasm in our voice as we talk about it. Because we've been all over the place with this episode.
We're so excited.
But, like, it's like a dog chasing a car. Like, if I got it, I don't know what to do with it. And now I've basically caught it. Like, we're finally here to a game that we both just adored and loved, and even to this day still love, from a nostalgia standpoint, from a gameplay standpoint, from a platformer standpoint. Just I love this game.
Top to bottom. Incredible. Legendary classic. I think I asked on Instagram, is it still a classic today? It's absolutely a classic. It will always be a classic. And
I don't think any which way, I think it stands the test of time so much that you could even today not have to remaster it.
I agree. Doesn't even need it.
It doesn't need it. And you said that you played when you were doing your playthrough. You played on the old TV.
Yeah,
and it said
a few
it
weeks ago
fantastic.
when I hooked it up to the CRT, it still looks amazing. Man.
That's the only thing I wish I had. When we were doing all these game reviews, especially for these older games, I've got the hookup for the HDMI converter.
Yeah.
And it does a good job for what it's supposed to, but it doesn't make it look as crisp as it used to.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I had some way to dumb down technology that wasn't $400. Man, I love this game. I can't wait. If we get a bunch of good reviews or requests, we might throw Donkey Kong Country 2, Donkey Kong Country 3 in there.
I need to beat it, and I need to play through 3.
3 was a little bit different. Is a lot like 2, where you could like morph into the animals and whatnot, but it had some puzzle things that went with it too.
Yeah.
They had these, I guess they call them banana birds, and they were actually going to be in the first one, but they just kind of negated that part of it and saved it for 3. Eventually they come out in 3. But you had these banana birds that you had to collect, and basically it's like a big game of Simon Says with a controller. So you might have to push like a button, like you'll see it on the screen, and it'll come like XXYBA, and you have to follow it on yours.
Really?
But then it'll get like 12 patterns long. You have to remember it.
Yes, I can't even remember our telephone numbers anymore.
I still remember yours.
Don't say it.
But if I did, you just have to put a Mario coin behind it, right?
I'm not going. Don't make me go through that again.
Well, in closing, anything in particular as far as questions on Twitter or Instagram or?
Well, yeah, we'll get to that. Let's let our loyal listeners hear some more awesome music real quick from Donkey Kong Country while we take a little break.
Oh, I hope it's corn capers.
Drank a lot of water.
Bathroom break. Technical difficulties.
BRB. right, so now we're at my favorite part of the show, Clint. It's where I drop a question on you out of
This
the
is
blue.
my least favorite part.
This one comes from our buddy Jeff, who's provided us with several great questions.
Yes.
And he actually gave me a few options this time, but the ones I'm going with...
Ones,
yes.
Oh,
We have
gosh.
ones, not twos. This is actually a two-parter. All right, so first of all, what is a game that's generally seen as unpopular that just really clicked with you and you liked? Now, it can be a game, or I'm going to throw this caveat in there. It can be a game series.
Okay.
And the second part is, what's a generally popular game or game series that just did not work for you? Not your cup of tea.
Well, for me, the easy one is going to be the second part of that, where wildly popular, but I just either didn't get into it or couldn't get into it. I would put almost every RPG in there.
That's true. That is true.
If you're going to hold my feet to the fire, though, the Elder Scrolls games, it's hard for me to get into.
It's not your thing.
Not my thing. The Mass Effect games, I know that hurts because that's one of, if not the favorite of yours.
The first one, yeah.
I couldn't get it. There's just a lot of dialogue that you have, like you have to take so much time to talk to these people.
It is. They're very time consuming. They're very. I guess they require you to really get into them a lot. So I can see that. I mean, that's no big deal.
What else? I've got Red Dead Redemption. I never played it. I don't know if that necessarily counts.
I've never played Red Dead Redemption either.
What are some others?
You said you didn't like the Gears of War games.
I wasn't a huge fan. They're not bad games. It's just, to me, that part of it was Halo or Gears of War. Either you were all in Halo or you were all in Gears of War.
Really?
That's the way I always saw it. I was way more into Halo, which it was more of a first person than a third person.
Yeah. The Gears games, I think my favorite's still the first one because it was more of a horror game than the others. But
right.
I don't know. I couldn't get into the multiplayer of Gears. I know a lot of people did. I really liked the story.
Yeah, and I could see that, but just the playing of it, I don't know. Like I said, whenever all that came out, Halo was the big thing. Halo 3 specifically was the big thing for me.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't Halo 3, I wasn't playing it at the time.
Well, I think Gears 1 was kind of seen as a, tied me over till Halo 3 comes out.
I could see that. But I know a lot of people, Brandon in specific, that...
Oh, yeah, he was big.
Especially the second one, I believe.
Yeah.
He was all into it.
The few times I played multiplayer with him.
Yeah. Going back to the first part of the question, I love Base Wars. I don't know how many people actually know about Base Wars.
Not
for
enough.
Nintendo. The average of 24 listeners that we have over the nation, if you have not played Base Wars, find a way to play it. Yes, it's a sports game. Yes, you can only go so far with Nintendo sports games, but
it's also a 2D fighting game.
Yeah, exactly. But it was just great. I loved it. For whatever reason, I really like the movie ports of games.
You do.
I've got a Transformers, which for a long time was the only car game that I had. So when Maze was little and he wanted to play a racing game, I had to put him either that or into and there's a funny story that goes with this other one. I had Grand Theft Auto 4 at the time, and I let him play it. Do you remember that?
Oh man,
there's too much editing that goes in that one. But the Spider-Man 3 for Xbox 360, I played the crap out of it when I first got it.
Yeah.
And
you do like movie ports.
I do. And
Superman Returns.
Superman Returns was one of the first games. Was one of the first games I had for my Xbox 360, and B was one of the first games I ever bought from GameStop. I was a new cartridge guy for a long, long time. If it wasn't new, I was not picking it up.
I was the same way. I didn't like to get used games.
But now it's, especially going retro, you're not going to find new.
No, unless you're willing to pay a lot
of money. As far as and I would throw the Crysis series in there. I know it was big on PC.
Yeah.
But I don't know how big it was. I've got 2 and 3 for 360. and I think I might be wrong. I think that one is out where you can download it at least. So those would be mine. It's hard. It's hard to say what is popular and what's not popular because some games are popular for good reasons, some are popular for bad reasons. So,
yeah, that's true.
NCAA football would be one that might not be. NCAA football is not as popular as Madden. So, could you throw that in there? I mean, it's kind of what your taste is. But, I mean, if we go through and say, okay, this particular system sold 1 billion copies, but Clint doesn't like it, okay, I could see it.
Well, I think when it means popular, just it's viewed generally pretty favorable.
Right. I think those are probably mine. That's, again, I mean, you can sit there and dissect that question and make it way more difficult than it actually is. So I'm gonna stick with my questions.
All right.
Well, and I love Mario Kart 64. I know you hated it, and it was probably
it's my least favorite of all the Mario Karts.
But that's where I cut my teeth because I didn't have a Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
So I've cut my teeth on Mario 64 or Mario Kart 64. So just some of those would probably fall in that category. How about you?
Right. The unpopular one that I liked was Enter the Matrix on Nintendo GameCube.
Hey, a movie port.
Well, it was kind of a movie port, but it wasn't.
It's a movie port because it's got the name. I rest my case.
That won't hold up in a court of law. But anyway, it tells the story that happens concurrently with the movie, but from two different characters. You could choose between Jada Pinkett Smith and some other guy. And I don't know. Just
did you just call Jada Pinkett Smith a guy?
No, I said some other guy. She's definitely not. But I just love running through, and you could use your Matrix powers and slow down time. And there was one room, like one of the first levels, where cops just kept pouring in. I just beat them. I just beat them relentlessly and fight agents. But
sometimes that just makes a game fun, though. Just doing that kind of stuff. Like people look at you and say, "Man, this is stupid."
I could do it for hours.
Yeah.
And as far as the popular game that I don't like, you may not speak to me after this.
If you say Sonic the Hedgehog,
no, it's not Sonic. I'm a Sonic fan, but I do not like any of the NCAA games by EA.
None of them.
None of them.
Even 2003's the one
2003
with Joey Harrington on it, because you played the mess out of that game.
Because that was the only game I had for a long time on my GameCube.
But I can see that because it takes a special person to really get into those games.
Same with RPGs.
So that's what's going to make us not talk to each other.
So you don't like RPGs. I don't like sports games. I don't know if it's because I'm bad at them. I don't know because if I hate them because I'm bad at them, or I'm bad at them because I hate them.
It's probably a bit of both.
But if the sports game does not have Super Mario in the title, I'm not interested.
Yeah, because you do have tennis. That's the only one I can think of right now. Golf. You have golf, don't you?
I think so.
Okay.
I think there's a Super Mario Golf. I have not played it, but I think you're correct.
Yeah, I can see that because I know, like, where you and Alex, because there was one year where me, you, Alex, Casey, maybe even Brandon was in on this, where we started an online dynasty.
Oh, no. Here's the thing. I know the one you're talking about because we were Conference USA. I was Marshall Thundering Herd.
Yeah.
But I think the point where I started hating NCAA more than anything was when we were in a dynasty with Brandon. We were SEC teams. And I was Kentucky, go Wildcats. And I was playing that other guy who had Florida, who's the best team in the game, had Tim Tebow.
Yeah, and he ran no huddle. I know
the guy knows he's going to beat me.
Yeah.
Okay. I know he's going to beat me. All I'm thinking is let's I just want a couple of touchdowns. He's going to score a lot. He proceeds to, first thing he does, he gets the ball, scores touchdown, goes for 2, gets it, kicks onside kick, gets it back, scores touchdown, goes for 2, onside kick. He just run up the score. I turned it off. If I could have put my hands on him at that moment, I would have killed him. And I told Brandon, I said, I'm done. This is it. It's over. And that's when I realized NCAA football brings out demons in people. It
You're
was
not talking
it was
about
the
me either,
jerk
are you?
demon in that guy. I've seen you do some things because of NCAA football, and that's going to be our first 30 for 30 that we ever do. When we can bring on Casey and Alex to talk about that night,
the infamous night of the Conference USA Championship. Oh man,
but no,
gosh.
NCAA in sports games in general.
Well,
just,
yeah,
I'm
and
out.
I could see that, especially in online play. But don't judge your entire thing on online play. That said, now you and Alex are firm believers that the computer will go into
invincible
mode
and
where
just
like
start
you can't
racking
do
up
anything, and they'll start making a game out of it in the fourth quarter.
Right.
So,
And let me also stress this: I love football. I love watching football. I love playing it in real life. I will not play a football video game unless it's a Super Mario, if they ever do that.
So I can't get you to play NCAA 14, the last one that came out.
No.
Okay. Could I get you to play NCAA 2020 when it revamps?
I actually smiled a little bit when they ended that series. I'm not going to lie.
I don't. All right, we may not talk anymore.
Okay,
guys,
Casey's
it's been a good
mad at me.
It's been a good run. No, that infamous night, Casey told me that he broke the game and he would never play it with me again. We're going to have to tell that story one day.
Wait, was that the same night?
That's the same night.
He broke his game?
He said he did.
I doubt it.
He said that
he might have had an extra copy waiting by.
No, he didn't break it. He just didn't play it for a while.
Okay.
It's kind of like whenever you took World at War and threw it behind your TV. I'm surprised you didn't say those series.
No, I like the Call of Duty games. That was just trying to play it on veteran. That was not fun. Grenade after grenade after grenade.
That was the exact time when I was doing my completionist stuff, when I wanted to get 100% everything, all the achievements.
Well, see,
thankfully I've gotten out of it. Now it's nice to pop an achievement every so often.
Yeah,
but I don't hunt them like I used to.
Well, I'd done the 100% stuff on Halo.
Yeah,
and I tried Call of Duty. And it's just there's no way they have enough arms to throw this many grenades this fast.
I killed 4 people. There's 400 grenades. There's something wrong.
It's impossible.
Okay. Well, anything else come to mind that is super, super popular that you don't like? I didn't like Fable.
Really?
Y'all love the Fable games.
Yeah. I liked 1. Okay. I really liked 2. 3, it was hit or miss for me.
I have never played the Final Fantasy games because it's the turn-based. I can't stand that. And I've never played Super Mario RPG because of it, because I know it's turn-based.
Yeah.
Pokemon, never played a Pokemon game.
Well, yeah, you're just you're not a fan of the turn-based, and it is, I guess, an acquired taste.
Halo Wars, for as much as I love Halo Wars, I've never played.
Well, that's a real-time strategy.
Well, I view it as the same. I mean, I know it's not, but I view it kind of as the same, though.
Because I mean, you're playing at your own pace. You're not bound by turn, but you do have to collect resources to build units and stuff. But to each his own.
I know you hated Halo 5. I didn't mind it so much.
Oh gosh, Halo 5. That was that one hurt me.
I'm gonna get 6 when it comes out.
I'm gonna wait and see on 6.
Well. And I think Halo 6 will be much like Sonic Mania and much like Star Wars Episode 7 were to be a redemption for.
I hope so.
What they screwed up, and hopefully, in a sense, it'll be the end of that trilogy, and either they'll move forward some way, or I don't know what story you can tell after the next one.
I don't know. It'll have to be Master Chief though.
Yeah. If they throw Osiris in there again, people are going to revolt.
Yeah, but
seriously, it's the only game they make. It's the only game 343 Studios makes, and they can't get it right.
Yep.
So, I enjoyed Halo 4.
It was okay.
Halo 5 was okay. I didn't care for the story too much, but
it had some cool concepts.
Sure,
I appreciated a lot of things it did, but overall,
sometimes you. It's like when you go to a steakhouse. You go to a steakhouse to get a steak. True? Well, every so often you might want to try their burger or something. You get the burger.
Chicken fingers.
And it's not good. Okay, well, now I know going forward that this is not what I want to do. So, give them credit for trying something a little bit new. It didn't work, which I could have told you. I could have told you it wasn't going to work from the get go, though.
That and they introduced freaking loot boxes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I hate loot boxes.
Yeah, loot boxes need the GO.
By the way, I'm about to. This is a stretch, but chicken fingers is possibly one of the things that set off my allergy. If I have to go without chicken fingers and sweet tea, you know what? I can't do it. I'll just take allergy medicine for the rest of my life.
Well, you know what you could do.
You're not a doctor. You can't say it.
I didn't even say it.
Well,
He
that
just looked at me.
With
Yeah,
that,
that's gonna say.
Jeff, thank you for the question.
Yeah, Jeff, thanks.
Always there to give us a good question, comment, help us along.
Guys, leave us a question or a comment or something on Twitter where everybody can see and everybody can join in conversation. We can give you a shout out.
Absolutely.
Talk about what you like.
Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you want. You heard it in the intro where we're at. Check us out. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you'd like to hear.
So, for the sake of the sanity of our listeners, I think we need to end this podcast now.
Yeah, let's go on.
Because we could keep going about Donkey Kong Country. I'm not even gonna lie.
We're gonna end it with a little Donkey Kong Country music that, listen closely. It might be a little clue for next week's episode. In there.
Shh! Don't tell them.
Well, I'm not gonna tell them. They'll have to listen.
Well, join us next time when you might hear Hammy say,
"Woo! Thank God it landed at Big Smoking Crater."